measuring what matters, measuring all of the KPIs and all of the little things that move within your business, so that even when you're not there, you can have a full view of everything that's going on, and you're never left wondering, oh my gosh, what's going on in that department, or what's happening with sales, what's happening with delivery, and so on and so forth. We want to move beyond that. We want to move to a level of transparency and order within every part of your business operations, that no one can even move a muscle without you knowing about it. And this is not about control. This is not about being, let's say, manipulative in any way. This is not about micromanagement or anything like that. This is all about transparency and seeing everything for exactly what it is. You cannot expect an organism as big as a large company of 50, 500 or 5,000 employees to function properly if you don't understand the flow of blood between every single organ, right? Like, you need to see how things work. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about in this level. In terms of measuring what matters, many people stop their measurements, let's say, at various parts of the organization that have to do with marketing, sales, or things of that nature. However, the vast majority of people fail to understand, within business at least, that the most important KPIs within a business, in the vast majority of cases again, are financial KPIs. Yet at the same time, the majority of businesses do not measure this one specific item or this grouping of items. When I talk to businesses and I ask them, okay, show me what you measure day by day, week by week, month by month, they show me things like traffic, they show me conversion rates, they show me all of these cool things which in themselves are important. And then I ask, okay, please show me your balance sheet. I'm like, what balance sheet? Your financial balance sheet. Show me your profit and loss statement. Show me your cash flow statement. And they don't have these documents, or they have them as a secondary item just from their accountant, because they get their accounting balance sheets and so on and so forth, and that's it. But it's not a tool they actually use. So what our invitation is please start both building and always updating 3 items, at least these 3 financial items, that will help you both track the success of your business and then take decisions based on how the business is actually going. So the first is your profit and loss statement. We always start with that because that gives you a view of the value of the business. The profit and loss statement basically looks at everything, right, and says, hey, this is how much cash we have, this is, you know, where our debt is, and so on and so forth. You can have a balance sheet. The balance sheet pretty much does the same thing. The difference is in time frames and so on. I don't want to get too technical here. Look into it, do your own due diligence on these items. There are so many cool, let's say, mini courses on YouTube and everywhere else on accounting and so on. I don't recommend you become an accountant, but I do recommend, just like we recommended, in level 0, you get the sense of law, like you understand business law and you get to understanding corporation law and your liabilities and everything that you need to do to make sure you are free of those liabilities and so on and so forth. In level 5, we recommend you take a deep, not a superficial, but a very deep understanding of financial numbers. I want you to understand profit and loss statements, what they represent, how they're built. I want you to understand balance sheets. And the final thing is, I want you to understand the cash flow statement. I want you to understand where cash is coming from and where cash is leaving. So the action step here is very clear. Create these documents if you don't have them already. And again, this is not something for your accountant to do. You can do this together with an accountant, right? So, and we recommend this very deeply. Find accountants that you can actually trust, that you can actually give all of this information to, and you work with them to build all of these, let's say, tools, because we call them tools, they're business management tools, to build all of these financial tools so that you can actually get a sense of where you're making money and where you're losing money. And when I say sense, again, I don't mean in a superficial way. I mean on a very deep level. I understand every single dollar that leaves my business and why, and what's the purpose of that, and what's the return on investment of that. and you will be shocked at how many subscriptions you have, how many small things you're paying for, and so on and so forth in most businesses. Obviously, if you're a one-person show, this will be less relevant. Or if you're let's say you're managing a small team of 5 people within a company, this might be a little bit less relevant. You might have just a few marketing subscriptions, let's say Ahrefs in marketing, or some other marketing tools that you're using on your website, and then the salaries of the 5 people, and that's about it. Even though I want you to understand, hey, this is how my team is spending money, and this is the value that we are bringing to the organization. And you can do this at every level of the org, and we've talked about this earlier in this video or in previous videos around how a department or a team will only live for as long as it adds value to the company. If it stops adding value to the company, sooner or later it's going to be fired or repurposed, right? That's why we see companies like Microsoft lay off 100,000 employees, because they realize that division is not making money, and it hasn't been making money for over 12 months. We have to let everyone go or repurpose those people, and so on and so forth, right? So don't be part of that team that gets let go, right? As a manager, as a director, as a vice president, as a owner of an agency that's rendering services to someone else, don't be on the team that's being let go. Focus on these items. See how much are we spending, how much are we making, and you can look at it from a client's perspective as well. Again, if you're a service provider, how much money are they paying us? How much money are we making them? And make it very clear to them on your monthly calls or weekly calls or whatever. Hey, this is what you're spending on us, and this is how much you're making as a result of our relationship, right? So all of these financial numbers are literally the most important ones you can manage in business. And I keep telling everyone I work with that asks me about business and business in general, any topic, I tell them, if you do not have these 3 items updated and tracked and used for insights, then you're not actually running a business or managing a team and so on. You're playing the game of business. It's still a game for you. It's not serious enough for you yet. You're not taking it as seriously as you probably should in your role as a manager, director, or business owner. Moving on from there, let's talk about cash flow, right? So we've talked about these 5 items. I'm not going to talk too much about the balance sheet and the P&L. I'm going to talk about cash. Why? You've heard this before, probably. It's a term that's coined in marketing and in sales and in business and everywhere, basically, when we talk about business affairs. And it is that cash flow is king, right? So let's talk a little bit about how we can manage that. I can tell you that cash is the solution to every problem in business, literally every problem in business. You cannot have a problem in business that cannot be solved with cash on hand. Okay, so your business's survival in times when times are not good for your business, and these can be very different. Like you can say, for example, that during I don't know what financial recession, everyone had it rough and it was hard for everyone and so on, but that's not true. What happens in a recession is not that there is less money, is that the wealth shifts. It shifts from old industries to new industries. It shifts from the lazy to the ambitious, hardworking individual. It shifts from certain parts of the world or certain regions to other regions, and so on and so forth. There's not less money in the world. And I explain this to everyone, whether it's a global pandemic going on, whether it's a recession, it doesn't matter what it is. There's never less money. The flow of money changes. So the only thing you need to make sure is that the flow of money is in your favor. So this is why we talk about cash flow, right? So cash solves every problem in every business. It doesn't matter. You can say, oh no, this problem is a cultural problem. Yes. And with cash, you can hire a cultural specialist. We actually have a company that goes into other companies and just works on their culture, making sure culture is fine, making sure, the wrong people that don't fit the culture are let go. Right type of people are hired that fit within the culture. Everyone agrees and aligns with their goals and so on. So we can do that for other people. The only thing that they need to do is pay us to do it. That's it. If they have enough cash, their culture problem can be solved. So what you need to do, you need to make sure, I mean, you don't need to do anything in life. What I want to recommend to you fully is that you should always have cash on hand. The quantity of cash differs from company to company. However, I recommend having at least 3 to 6 months of OPEX, of operating expenses, saved for you at any point in time, right? So if, let's say, your monthly costs are 100 grand, right, you should have $300 to $600 in cash at any point in time. If you do not have that, you are not recession proof. You are not a bad, period proof, let's say, because you can have a bad period of losing several clients at the same time and then having financial issues or things of that nature.